Welcome in to the Roll Tide Rewind. We are here to do an Indiana defensive preview. The Rose Bowl is just in 2 days, so very quick. No, not a quick turnaround, but a quick turnaround if you watch this video, then watch the game, of course. But we're here to break down Indiana's defensive film. We break down their offensive film yesterday, but Indiana is number one team in the country for a reason, and a lot of it has to do with their defense. Their defense ranks 10.8 points per game a game. That is second in the country. They are fifth in the country at having 39 sacks. Ty Simpson has been sacked 29 times. That is the most of any quarterback left in the playoffs, so something to watch out for. They are fourth in the country at rushing yards allowed per game at 77.6, and then 179.5 passing yards per game, 18th in the country. Only have allowed 20 or more points in a game twice, Penn State and Oregon. That's it. We'll go over those two games as well. And then their best turnover margin per game in the country. So this is one of the best teams Alabama has. This is the best team, maybe besides Georgia, if you want to compare Indiana and Georgia, but those by far will be the two best teams Alabama has played this year. We'll go into what Indiana does well. They rush the passer very, very well. They have five guys with 5 or more sacks. Elijah Hardy has 8 sacks. He's also their leading tackler. Isaiah Jones has 7 sacks. Tyreek Tucker, who's an All-American, had 5.5 sacks. Mario Landino, 5 sacks. A big key in this game, though, Stephen Daly, 5.5 sacks, is out. He's probably their best rushing defender, one of their better pass rushers, obviously. He's going to be out for this game, and that's a big loss for Indiana. Now, Georgia, in the Georgia game, Georgia did not have their starting center, Drew Bobo. That didn't matter. Georgia was able to win 28-7. So how big of a deal does Stephen Daly not being in this game affect Indiana? I think it will affect them a little bit, but they still have other guys that can play. So don't just think that if Stephen Daly's out, that's going to be the main reason Indiana loses the game. They have other guys that can play. They had 5 sacks against Ohio State. They had 6 sacks against Oregon. Like I said, 39 sacks, 5th in the country. Ty has been sacked 29 times, which is the most of any quarterback left in the playoffs. So this is going to be a big key to this game because every game it seems like Ty's getting hit hard. He's getting hit thrown to the ground. Just go ahead and assume it's going to be the same this game. If we're going to run a lot of, long developing pass plays and the offensive lineman's going to whiff a time or two, he's going to get hit. He's going to be sacked. Now, I was impressed in the first time Alabama played Georgia. He was sacked, I believe, 0 times. Could that be something that happens here? Could Alabama respond well here? But Indiana's, like I said, their defense has shown up in big games. Like against Oregon, who had 6 sacks. Against Ohio State, had 5. So they're not like unloading on all these teams with sacks and then not sacking the good teams they played. The best 2 teams they played, Oregon and Ohio State, they've combined for 11 sacks. So this is a big-time team here. Big-time team Alabama's going to have to play. We also talked about their turnover margin. The best turnover margin per game in the country, but they have a really good secondary. Lewis Moore, 6 interceptions, 1 pass deflection. He's an All-American. Amari Farrell is a 6'2" defensive back, 4 interceptions, 6 pass deflections, leads the team with 6 pass deflections. Devon Boykin, 2 interceptions, 5 pass deflections. Aiden Fisher, their linebacker, has 2 interceptions. He's able to make big plays this year. Jamari Sharp is 6'1". He has 4 forced fumbles, which is one of the tops in the country. 4 pass deflections. And also D'Angelo Pons is an All-American, 2nd lowest passer rating in the Big Ten when targeted. Very, very good defenders. Now, one would ask, what receivers have they played? Jeremiah Smith is the best receiver in the country, might be the best player in the country. He was able to have a good game against Indiana, but if they really tried hard enough, who would Jeremiah Smith not have a good game against? So I think that's not a fair comparison to make, but he was able to have a good game against them. But they have good DBs. Alabama's receivers, Alabama has, Jeremy Bernard, Isaiah Horton, Loxier Brooks, and Ryan Williams. They have good receivers. How are they going to respond to these physical corners, these tall corners, and how are they going to make plays? So like you should see here against Kennesaw State, able to beat the defender. Offensive is able to beat the defender, but he's able to come back and make a really good play. So you got DBs, they got good pass rush. So what we'll go into next is the main part of the video is what did teams do to confuse Indiana's defense? Because Indiana's defense was a little bit harder to find confusion with than Indiana's offense. I think Indiana's defense is one of the best groups in the country. Maybe have the Burroughs Award winner on as a coordinator as well. But what I noticed in the Oregon game when I was watching film, Oregon was able to run the ball effectively on Indiana, one of the better ones of the year. Jordan Davison, running back, 8 carries, 59 yards, 7.4 yards per attempt. Noah Whittington, their second running back, 5 carries, 27 yards, 5.4 yards per attempt. 13 carries for around 86 yards, pretty good. But Oregon in the second half really got away from running the football, and that had to do with a lot of turnovers, just position in the game that they thought they needed to go quickly with, and for whatever reason, they got away from running the football. But if you watch these clips, I thought they were pretty successful at it. They were pretty successful at getting to the middle of the field and able to make plays out of that. But because a lot of these runs are not sweeps, tosses, they're dives or cuts right to the middle of the field, misdirections to the middle of the field. And this reminded me a lot of the Auburn game for Alabama, how Alabama was able to attack a weakness that, if you watch the Roll Tide Rewind episode, I mentioned that Auburn's weakest game was against Texas A&M, and it's because A&M ran the ball a lot in the middle of the field. And Alabama, I thought, did a pretty good job at splitting that. This was one of Alabama's best rushing games. Alabama had over 100 rushing yards, which for people that haven't watched Alabama play, Alabama hasn't ran the ball well. So over 100 rushing yards seems like a dream. But that was probably Jam Miller's best game this last half of the year. Ever since the Missouri game, Jam Miller's been pretty limited running the football. And I thought this was by far his best game. Since that, Daniel Hill has also been a really good running back for Alabama. We'll go over him more later on in the video about how important he is. But will Alabama take advantage of running in the middle of the field? Because Alabama does get away from running the football a lot. Mostly because, one, they're not good at it. But two, even if Alabama has sparks in it, they still get away from it. They never really fully take advantage of it. This drive I'm showing you right here against Auburn was probably one of my favorite drives of the year, because we ran the ball effectively all the way down the field, and then right when we got to the goal line, we passed it for an easy touchdown to Isaiah Horton. So when you run the football well, it opens up a lot for your team and what you're able to do. Also in the Oregon game, Oregon was able to exploit some mishaps in coverage. They were able to find just little openings. Now, I'm not saying that Oregon was effective passing the ball against Indiana, because they weren't. Dante Moore had a 35.4 QBR. That's a scale out of 100. Not good. But they were to find openings in the middle of the field and take kind of advantage of those. And when I think about middle of the field for Alabama, I only think about Jeremy Bernard. Jeremy Bernard is Alabama's best receiver this year. He has 60 catches, 802 yards, 7 touchdowns, 13.4 yards per catch. But a lot of those are just coming right in the middle of the field like these plays are. He's also used a lot in the ground game, 18 carries, 101 yards, 2 touchdowns, but his biggest key is in the middle of the field, finding those holes in coverage, holes in zone coverage, man coverage, whatever you want to find. Alabama was able to find the holes and able to find Bernard for a first down play, which is what Alabama's offense really is at their most effective point, is whenever Alabama is able to get the ball to Jeremy Bernard across the middle of the field. So something I noticed in Oregon's play that I think Alabama could take advantage of, and as you can see here, able to find the opening, not it's tight coverage, but able to get them, motion them, able to get them to the sideline, able to make the play. So one more Oregon play. This was Oregon's best offensive play of the day. They were able to find Malik Benson, former Alabama legend Malik Benson, for a touchdown here. And it's just they got lost in coverage. You see Malik Benson here. There's a big loss in coverage with him and DeCorian Moore here. But the defenders don't do a good job communicating this zone pass off here. It's a mix of man and zone that I'm seeing here, but there's no pass off here that's done well. And this safety is already beat from the get-go. Malik Benson's a very fast player. Will Alabama take advantage of that? Alabama's not been good with the deep ball this year, but will Alabama take advantage of that? You can see Alabama here against LSU. They take advantage of miscommunication pretty well. This is probably Ty's best pass of the year, deep pass of the year. But able to hit Locksley in stride for the catch. But you can see here with the communication between these 3 defenders, there's not good communication. Like that defender has to take Cuevas over the middle, but the safety bails to the right. This safety bails to the inside, and then wide open across the middle of the field. So something for Alabama to watch out for. I was very impressed with Penn State against Indiana, especially how Penn State had done previously before this game. Penn State was able to win short yardage rushing the ball. Singleton and Katron Allen were able to win short yardage situations. Singleton, 10 carries for 71 yards. 59 of those came on one run. But it's because a lot of these plays, he had to win short yardage, 1 yard runs, just pound for pound, go at it. And same thing with Katron Allen here as well. Well, when I hear short yardage with this Alabama offense, the only person I'm thinking of in this situation that hopefully should be the only one used in the situation is Daniel Hill. Daniel Hill has been very powerful in the last half of the year for Alabama. 6 rushing touchdowns. Alabama only has 21 rushing touchdowns this entire year, and he's accounted for, almost a fourth of them or more than a fourth of them in the last half of the year because he didn't really start playing a lot until the Missouri game, Tennessee game, which was in the middle of the year. But how important is Daniel Hill in this game? He's very important. I wouldn't say he's the most important one that I'll go over in this video, but I think he's going to be razor importance because he's got to win these short yardage plays. Alabama's offensive line has to get a push on these plays. Daniel Hill, his most carries he had in the game was 15 against Oklahoma the first time around. He also had 9 carries the second time around, and those were his most successful games. 60 yards, 43 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 touchdown. He was able to burst off multiple 25-yard runs in those games. This is where Daniel Hill is going to have to win the game. Not win the game, but win the line of scrimmage. That's what I meant to say. But he's so powerful, he just falls forward, as you see in these clips. But Alabama's going to have to win those. Like how Singleton and Katron Allen won it for Indiana, Alabama's going to have to win it, especially if Stephen Daly, like I said, he's not playing. One, less guy to worry about. Still a good offense, still a good defensive line, but, still one less guy to worry about. We'll go into the next part. What's important? Penn State was able to get Trevor Penna involved very well in this game. He used a Syracuse transfer, didn't really work out that well if they thought he was going to be a much higher end receiver, but also their team was very much down this year. But against Indiana, he was able to have 6 catches for 99 yards, and including this player here, he was able to go off the very weak arm tackle by the Indiana defender, but they were able to get him involved in the screen game, the long passing game. You also see here with this corner out here, able to get involved, able to make a man miss and get a few extra yardage. And you can see here on this play in the fourth quarter, able to hit him across the middle of the field, kind of like how Alabama does with Jordan Bernard. But I'm not going to talk about Jordan Bernard here. What this one reminds me of here is he reminded me a lot of Locksley Brooks against Oklahoma. Locksley Brooks against Oklahoma was a career day for him. 5 catches was his career high. 79 yards was his career high, and 2 touchdowns were all career highs for Locksley Brooks against Oklahoma. 32 catches, 441 yards on the year. You can even see on this play making 3 guys miss to get in the end zone. Well, technically 4. To get in the end zone is able to make this big-time catch right here against Oklahoma to extend the lead, and Alabama held the lead for the rest of the game. So I think Locksley Brooks could be a big key in this game as well. I mentioned Daniel Hill. Locksley Brooks is another name. He's going to have to come in big like he did against Oklahoma, which whenever Alabama's offense was at a stalemate, he came through and was able to make big, big plays. So how Penn State was able to use Trevor Penna in the passing game where it was screens in every which way, Locksley Brooks is going to be the same. We'll go into the next clip. This is just a one-play clip we'll go over here, but I talked about Jeremiah Smith earlier in the video, best receiver in college football, probably best player in college football. He catches the Indiana defender here very flat-footed and is able just to blow right by him, as you can see here on this play. We'll watch it again. Flat feet, thinking he's going to run a short route, and he's already beat as soon as Smith really takes off because he's anticipating a lot of up close, and Smith blows him away. Because Ohio State's offense is very efficient in the short passing game, and they don't use a lot of deep balls. But when they do, they're successful because the defenders are guessing a lot when they play Ohio State. And the same thing happens with Alabama because Alabama's offense is mainly run with short passing game. But they have shown, and especially with this play against Oklahoma, Ty, when he wants to, he can throw it deep. He hasn't been effective with it this year, but this is probably one of his best throws of the year to Isaiah Horton. Catches the Oklahoma defender flat-footed at the bottom of the screen and is able to go for a big gain, and it's a good trusting play by Ty Simpson. You can also see here against Oklahoma again from the first time around, the defender is caught flat-footed against Isaiah Horton. You can see here the defender's right here, and he's going to be anticipating a lot of short, and as soon as Ty sees it, Ty attacks and is able to hit Isaiah Horton for a big play down the sideline, which sets up a touchdown by Daniel Hill. So if Alabama's not going to run a lot of deep passes against Indiana, but when they do, are we going to take advantage of it? Are we going to take advantage of the flat feet? Are we going to take advantage of Horton going deep? It seems that Horton is going to be maybe the guy that's trusted with these deep balls, as I've seen here. But Alabama has a lot of deep ball ability with their receiver. It's just a matter of if they can get it there. The last part of the video we'll go over here. Ohio State, they moved the ball in Indiana. They just didn't really finish drives. So one thing they were good at is they got the ball to their tight ends effectively, 5 catches for 48 yards. They were able to do it in different ways to get them close to first downs, or just even chunk plays that, help, move the ball down the field. But Indiana sometimes wasn't even guarding the Ohio State players. As you can see on the first clip here, or this is the second clip, no one really accounts for the Ohio State tight end. On the first one here off the play action with running back, the tight end is right there wide open, and the same thing on the last clip as well. This is the guy I think probably is the most important player for Alabama's offense in this game. It's going to be, well, besides Ty Simpson, it's going to be Josh Cuevas, I think. Before he broke his ankle, he was really doing great. He had 4 catches for 58 yards against LSU, and then against Oklahoma the first time around, 6 catches for 80 yards, which was his best of the year, and best catching total of the year as well. And then got hurt, missed the Eastern Illinois, the Auburn, and the Georgia game. But he was able to come in against Oklahoma, second time, 3 catches for 35 yards, which not bad, especially a guy that's on a broken foot. But 12 days rest, how effective is Josh Cuevas going to be? And I think he's going to be the most important guy for Alabama in this game, because when we have such good receivers, Cuevas may be unaccounted for, and he's going to be a guy that we're going to have to look to and trust in this game. But yeah, like Daniel Hill, the keys to go over to sum it up, the keys for victory for Alabama on offense is how successful is Daniel Hill and the Alabama run game going to win the short yardage situations? Like, are we going to move the ball on 3rd and 1, maybe 4th and 1, 1st and goal, 2nd and goal, 3rd and goal? Are we going to win those situations? Because if we do, you're looking at, 7 points versus a field goal attempt, or continuing a drive for 3 more minutes, or punting it away. That's what you're looking at. You're also looking at here with Josh Cuevas, how big of a game can he have? How can we take advantage of Indiana going after the other good receivers, and how can he take advantage of that? But also the big key, how does Ty handle the pass rush? How does he handle the pass rush, not making mistakes and able to get the ball to the safest option? And how is Alabama able to move the ball down the field? So I think if we can limit, obviously I say limit the sacks, but limit the sacks, if he can get rid of the ball and besides getting pressure, that's going to be a big deal. But how are we going to get the ball to our Cuevas? How is Daniel Hill going to win the short yardage? I think it's going to go a long way in this game. So thank you guys for watching the video. This is just a little quick defensive preview before the game. Thank you for watching the video. We're almost to 700 subscribers. Be big, awesome if we were able to get to that. Yeah, and that's really it. The game is in 2 days. I hope everybody enjoys, has a good watch of the game. Hopefully it's a good game. Hopefully we're able to be back here next week breaking down either Texas Tech or Oregon. But this is going to be a tough game for Alabama. This is by far the best team they played this year, probably the best team they played in the last 2 years probably. But hopefully everyone has a great rest of your week. Have a happy New Year's, and roll Tide.